right, today we're going to talk about, or at least in this video, we're going to talk about using the table feature of your graphing calculator to solve equations. I am on page 25 in your book, okay? So this is page, let's see, where can I write this? We are going to be on page 25. All right, so you want to open up to page 25. And we are going to use an example and our graphing calculator. So you want to have your graphing calculator out. I don't expect you to take any notes. You can add notes as you like into your notes, but I'm not going to actually expect to see any notes on this. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take any. Okay, so that's up to you. All right, so we are going to use the table feature of our graphing calculator to solve linear equations, okay? Now, I don't know if this is necessarily the quickest way of doing this all the time, but it is one way. And so I want to show you every tool that is available to you with your graphing calculator because they are fantastic tools. All right, so we are going to use this equation here, 7x minus 2 equals 4x plus 13. So what we can do is we can look at this equation as two separate equations. They're both going to be a linear equation. They're both, when we graph these, they're both going to be a line. And I guess what we're looking for here is to figure out, hey, at what x value do these two lines have the exact same y value? Okay? So when can I put in x and get out the exact same value? All right, so in my graphing calculator, I am going to, anytime you want to put in something that you would either graph or use your table of values for, you go to y equals. Okay, and I already have something there, so I'm going to clear it. All right, so what I want to do, I'm going to enter one of my expression, or half of my equation as an expression, or as an equation with y1 equals. So I'm going to do 7x. Okay, and the x is actually up here. That's your variable. And then I'm going to subtract. Okay, so this gets a little tricky as well. So your calculator is very picky. I don't know why they did this. We'll use other programs that are not this picky, but this on the right-hand side is a subtraction sign. This button down here is a negative sign. So if you want to put negative in, you do this button. Subtraction is there. I know they're the same thing. So that's just how it is. It's always been like that, so we're going to go with it. Okay, so minus 2. Okay, so that's going to be one of my equations. And then I'm going to put in my other equation, or my other half of this equation, which is an expression, but I'm making it into an equation, 4x plus 13. Oops. Okay, so that looks exactly like step 1 here. Okay, so you use the table feature. Oops, that's not what I said. We're letting y1 equal one side of the equation and y2 equal the other side of the equation. Okay? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my table of values. Okay, so I need to view this thing as a table. So you're going to want to do second window. Okay, so the second button, yours is probably yellow, mine is blue. But I'm going to hit second window, which really says table set, so set up your table. I'm going to start, let's see, I think they've given us some directions here. We're going to go we're going to do a step value increasing by 1. Okay, so we're going to start at 0. And we're going to change our table by 1. Okay, so we're all happy there, right? Table start is going to 0. Doesn't mean you can't go to negatives. I'll show you can't. And then we're going to change our table by 1. You can change these increments to go up by halves or by tens. It's up to you. All right, our next direction here, we're going to scroll through. Oops, you can't see that. We're going to scroll through the table until I find an x value for which both sides of the equation have the same exact y value. Okay, which basically is saying, hey, both sides are exactly the same. That x value must be true for both of them. right? It makes this equation true. All right, so that's what I'm going to do. So the way that you get to your table is you hit second graph. See how there's a table above graph? So I go second table. All right, so I'm looking for where both y1 and y2 are exactly the same. So I'm going to keep scrolling. Oh, I found it. It's where x equals 5. So basically that's where your two sides of this equation will be equal. So it's just another way of finding a solution if you're allowed a calculator. It's not always going to happen. This is really good practice though, because for those of you guys that someday will be going on to calculus, we're going to use this table feature a lot, and in pre-calculus as well. Okay, so I think I'm good. I would go ahead and try that one more time on your own. Make sure that you can actually get to where you type in your equations, then where you actually set up your table, and then actually get your table. Okay? All right.